Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan, he's a Corgi, and this is an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. And as many of you may know, I have been in Facebook jail for a week. I get out Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember. But I am at my job as an educator Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this coming week. So I thought I'd check in and say hi today and then see you again on Thursday. So what I'd like to do today, hi Danny, it must be cold where you are. It's kind of been warm here. Anyway, we want to wrap up our series about hospice care for pets and end-of-life issues and just kind of review that. We've been talking about this since October when I did my interview with a friend of mine, a vet named Ella Biddle, for the radio show about her work as a vet in hospice care. And everything just sort of came together to be that way. And if you haven't checked out that radio show with Ella, go to dreamvision7radio.com and look under Naturally Healthy Pets, and you can get that interview, which I believe was in October. So one of the things that we need to remember when we're looking at hospice care and end-of-life issues for pets is that it's everyone's individual choice, and your choice with one pet may be different than your choice with a different pet. Everything depends on what is going on with your dog, how old your dog is, what his quality of life is. And to that end, there are many things you can look on the internet that are called quality of life scales. I would be a little hesitant with them because only you know how your dog is doing. They can give you a baseline, but if it comes out that your dog's quality of life is terrible based on some survey, but you can see him smiling when you go to the snack jar and you can see him barking when you come home, then his quality of life is not so diminished necessarily that you would be thinking about putting him down. So hospice care often is about what you really understand to be what your pet needs and wants, and part of that is getting a good understanding from your veterinarian about what is going on with your dog that is causing his systems to shut down so that he will be ready to cross the rainbow bridge. Many conditions are painful, and so that's a bigger problem than those that are not. And often, you know, you're just caring for a senior dog, and then one day he's not there anymore when you go downstairs to get him up. So it doesn't always have to be that we have to struggle with a decision to bring him to the vet to have him put down. And hospice care opens that possibility up that we may be able to spend quality time that is quality for our pets all the way up until their last breath. And part of that includes also where we bring them for that last breath, unless it's in our home or if the vet comes to our house. You know, there are so many choices that I really implore people to think carefully while the pet's young and healthy, like my little boy is, what you want to do, what will be your course of action. Because otherwise, when your pet is already 17 years old, it is very hard to make these decisions. And I have been very clear with my pets from the beginning, even my horses, that I am here for them until the very last moment and that I will not put them down. And please don't put me in a situation where I have to do that, because I can't do it. And so I have never had to do that, and I've never had an animal with some fatal thing that has made me have to decide that it's time. So I'm very lucky in that way to a certain extent, and I feel for people who have to make other choices. But part of our end-of-life care for our pets is the quality of life that we give them during their lifetime. I have seen miracles with feeding a better diet. I have also seen animals with one paw over the rainbow bridge who are young because of a poor diet. And this is what my sister talks about all the time: feeding a better diet, making healthier choices for ourselves and for our pets. And I can't emphasize that enough. I mean, her dogs are 100 years old. They had bad lives to start before she rescued them, and they are continuing on because of good food. And it's not just her. I'm a big fan of Ted Karasote's book, Pucka's Promise, and that's a book about a dog that came after his first dog, Pucka, and his search to have his dog live a long life. And that included eating meat that Ted shot on his own, elk and things. He lives in Wyoming, and giving Pucka really the best quality of life that he could. And that dog has lived a long time. And he hikes and he goes for long, long backpacking trips with the dog. The dog has a very rich and full emotional life, visiting other dogs in the town. So that dog's quality of life is so good. And, you know, that's one of the things that is a problem for all of us, is the fact that pets don't live long enough. And if we can squeak out 2, 3, 5, 7, even 10 more years with better food and better choices for their health care, why not do it? You know, like, I just don't see how you can't feed your dog better food. And it's hard. People have busy lives, and it is difficult enough to feed themselves. Nearly all of my clients tell me that their pets eat better than they do. Quite a few of them have told me that since they've improved their pet's quality of food, that they've improved their own quality of food. But a better quality of food will ensure that your dog is healthier longer, and you won't have to make choices that are difficult. And you can more easily transition into hospice care with your pet. And even if your pet's 15 years old right now, it is not too old for you to improve his diet and give him a better quality of life all the way to the end of his life. And being with them at the end of life is something else that hospice gives us. We get to be with them, and that bond of being with an animal or a person at the end of their life that I've had with many, many animals and people is remarkable and precious. And I applaud anyone who has been able to be with their animal to the very end and not have to, quote, put them down, and allow them to go through that process together, because it really is spiritually enriching, and I think it's better for the animal, and I think it's better for you. So it's, to me, it's almost like a no-brainer. But as I said, hospice care isn't always not having to do an intervention, because things can change. Things, you know, organs can shut down, different systems can start to fail, and you may have to make a choice to end hospice care. But to go into hospice care for your pets consciously and conscientiously can really give you precious time with your pet. We discussed in several of these episodes how often with an intervention like Reiki or craniosacral therapy, even acupuncture, your pet may revive and get a couple more months, weeks, days from that kind of intervention. And that time is also precious. To be able to see your senior acting like he's lost 5 years of his life, running around and playing and being interested in things again, is something that all of us treasure. And so being able to set money aside for your animal's hospice care while he's still young can also be a real help to you later on. And there have been several attempts to start hospice agencies for pets in different parts of the country. I think in an affluent area, it may have its time coming, because, you know, what people have tried to do is say that you pay a certain amount per week and you will be provided with any of these 5 interventions and visits from people that have to administer injections or whatever. And then you just pay that fee, and you've got some professionals available on a rotating basis, which is actually how they did some of my care when I had cancer. They had raised money to provide a bunch of different kinds of practitioners that were available to us, and we just paid $50, and we could go to one a week of anyone we wanted. And to have a model like that for pets would be a wonderful thing. And they tried that in Boston, but it didn't take off. So the time may not have come. I mean, hospice care for pets is still a new thing. So please open discussions about this with your friends and pet owners. And I think that in the years coming up here, I may be speaking at conferences and expos more about this, because it's something I really care about. And I have a lot of stories of end of life with pets and humans that I think reach people, to help them understand what that process is about. It's frightening, you know, to think that your animal may suffer. We are, from the minute we're born, inculcated with the idea that animals shouldn't suffer. And so that's why, you know, very, very pragmatically, people will say, well, I had to put him down, he was suffering. But there are so many different options now to intervene with that suffering and give your animal a good quality of life that could go on for a long time. And we are really just exploring that with humans. I mean, a lot of the kinds of practices I do are still not covered in hospice care. And one of my friends who is a head of a social department in a big nursing home, she said that, in fact, what we don't understand is that in nursing homes, people go there to die, not to get better. And me as a therapist, a physical therapist working with people in a nursing home, is kind of counterindicated to what they want to do there. You know, they don't want them to get better. They want them to die because then they make more money when another person comes in. And that is just nuts to me. And, you know, I've been fortunate to work in places where that was clearly not what they wanted to do. You know, they really wanted to give people good quality of life. And the place was run completely differently than any other nursing home. The patients there were outpatients. That was considered their home. They were not on the same kind of insurance that inpatients are. And that makes a big difference in your care. And that translates over to pets as well. You know, the idea of having pets in hospice care and being able to afford that and have vets offer solutions for things that can come along the way. Like one of the problems that happens pretty often with senior pets is UTIs. Well, we can manage that with antibiotics. And yeah, you don't want to have your animal on antibiotics forever when he's 8. But as my sister decided with Comet, he was almost 16, and he just had a UTI that was just very difficult and stubborn. And she said, let's just keep him on the antibiotics a couple of months. You know, how long is he going to live? A year? Okay, that's a long time to be on antibiotics, but he might not make it that long. And he didn't. And it wasn't because of his UTI problems. So, you know, you have to have a vet that's flexible to look at things holistically at that time in your pet's life when he's nearing the end of the road, because things are different caring for seniors. And I feel passionately about this, having been with so many pets when they've crossed the Rainbow Bridge and seen the beauty of that process. So I am certainly going to be reposting some of these hospice care talks around the internet. I have a couple. The one about prayer never made it past my pages and my Corgi people. So hopefully I will be able to share that with some more spiritual groups and bring some attention to this issue, because really hospice care for pets should be something that we all think about. We might not choose to do it, but we should be well informed and know that it's available and know what the process would be like and know that you can end it at any time. It gives you more choices. And one of the things I've learned from the wisdom of Dr. Bernie Siegel is the more options you have, the better off. So keep doing things that give you lots of options, because you have lots of choices to make the right decision when you have lots of options. So it's been really a pleasure and also a bit of an emotional, what's the word? A little bit of an emotional time trying to do all these talks about hospice care for pets. So we are going to move on. I always try to look to things in my life as cues for where we're going to go next. Well, of course, we have Christmas coming up. I'd love to do an interview with my mom. And I will be in New Jersey Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I might not do these, or I might get one in during that time. So I will see you Thursday for sure. But poop has come up a lot for me lately with different pets. And so we may have a whole series about poop, because you know what? Poop happens. So from me and Tristan, have a good week, everybody. We will see you on Thursday. And please have your friends like my page and follow it so that I don't have to keep sharing in all these groups and get in Facebook jail all the time. I would like to have 10,000 of my own followers so I don't have to get Facebook mad at me. I still don't even really know why they're mad at me. Actually, no one ever does. I don't know anyone that knows. And some people are in jail more often than others. And like I said, plenty of people like me once a year, usually in November, I'm in Facebook jail. So thanks for joining us. Have a good time with your wrapping up your Christmas shopping, packing, wrapping, decorating. TV this morning said 77% of households have a Christmas tree, which makes me feel kind of like lazy because I often don't have one. But I bought my fake one. My fake tree is pretty awesome. I may try to do the Thursday talk in front of my fake tree. When I got it out of the box, it was flat, and I didn't realize how much fluffing up they take, which is a ton. So 2 hours later, it looked pretty good, and it was an expensive tree, so I'm pleased that it's as good as it is. All right, we will see you on Thursday. Everybody have a great day. There's Corgi, gonna get some snacks. Bye-bye.